We're here. We're here. Just wait a couple more minutes. We'll be right with you. What? You don't like my choice of music? Are you serious? Come on. It's not getting you pumped up for the show? Okay. Let me take care of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime, folks!
lot of great rotary vices on the market, but only the Norvise spins the hook. It's for this reason that it's been said the Norvise is the most innovative fly tying system on the market.
We all deserve the right to stay organized, no matter what or where your space is. Your FlyKia table will turn any space into a well-organized fly tying realm. Own your domain.
Oh my goodness!
What's up?
I've been working out.
That's a nice shirt you got on there, bud.
Welcome back
Yeah.
to Thursday Night Live. Our friends at Norvise sent up a shirt for
me.
Tim and Ren to share. Apparently,
I think
too
you should
many-
stand up. That's just my first.
I will stand up, and I just might change my shirt at one time tonight. We cannot guarantee it.
No. Who needs a sports bra when you got a shirt?
Yeah, those are called pecs, Tim.
Oh, sorry.
One day your bee stings will mature and turn into. Whew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hey.
All right.
It's Thursday Night Live. I'm Tim Hepworth.
And I'm Dana Lattery.
Welcome back, guys. It's great
And,
to read you. Although you can see us, we can't see you. But we'll read what you have to say.
Clearly. The thing is, if I wear this shirt, like, I'm not going to age. It's like vacuum sealing your meat. You know, when we get a deer. I'm not sure. I feel awkward here. Anyways, too many chocolate croissants. Okay.
Yes.
So Sean just booked a trip, and I was telling him about the lunches. And if anybody in here has done a trip with us, I told them they would vouch for the chocolate croissants because it's probably better than the trip itself.
Yeah.
And it's only $2.50, and you can save yourself a lot of money.
$2.
Okay. Wear it out to Walmart. That's what I will do. Guys, I'm not out of shape.
No,
I just
not at all.
simply...
He was dancing really hard. Couldn't you see?
I just simply am having a hard time
breathing. Yeah, I think people need the full view. If you wouldn't mind just.
Well,
Let's let the people.
we'll
vote.
let the
If you'd
people
like
decide.
Dana to stand up and show you the rest of the shirt. Maybe
Yeah.
even give us a spin.
Just-
You should definitely
that's
let us know in the
assuming
comments.
there is the rest of the shirt somewhere. 'Cause clearly, Tim from Norvise didn't send the rest of the shirt, or the sleeves, or the hoodie.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyways,
Nice
I
crop
bet you
top.
guys didn't know I was so trim.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't know.
Side view.
Yeah. Stand up, Dana. Tammy says everybody
Well,
wants you to stand
that's
up.
one vote.
No, there's many votes there. I can see them all.
And one vote is only the majority in the US of A. We will rig the rest.
Oh man.
Okay, Tim
Okay,
chugs if Dana shows it.
Oh,
There it
come
is.
on. Hey, you
There
didn't
it
spin.
is.
You didn't spin.
I-
I can't chug tonight, folks. Not tonight. Maybe next week. DD next week.
okay, so I got so sidetracked. I don't even know what night of the week it is. Thursday.
It is Thursday.
And tonight, a new beer from Fahar. Locally brewed
It's a good one.
in Turner Valley, Alberta, just south of Calgary. Pogues, I stood up for you guys. Duct tape should fix it. Yeah, Steve Barrett even vouches that the chocolate croissant and the lunch was better than my company.
Well, that doesn't say
Wow.
much for your company.
Well,
Croissants
it
are
does,
good, but-
because I mean those croissants are such a high standard of a treat.
That is true. They are pretty deadly. So, guys, what we do want to hear from you is where are you at tonight? Where are you tuning in from?
Where are you
what are
from?
you drinking? We'd also like to know
What are you
that.
drinking?
So give us a shout out in the comments. Let us know.
And maybe there's lots of you guys doing the dry February, which is super awesome too. I was until I put this shirt on and danced. And then dry was a 20-minute ago term.
Yes.
The belly mesh football shirts.
Yeah, those are good.
South Carolina, New Hampshire,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Montreal, Quebec, Hello, bonjour, bienvenue. That's French, just in case
I figured that's probably what it was.
you didn't know what I was talking about. Yeah, so Thursday Night Live, like usual, I let Tim explain it.
Okay, so Thursday Night Live. What is Thursday Night Live? Well, in our current state, what Thursday Night is. Well, I'll give you a little bit of a back history first. So Thursday Night Live, we started it this is season 3. We were in a brewery at the time, and we were there for the first 2 years, basically. It wasn't until halfway through last year when we went into our first lockdown, up until now where we've been in studio. But we used to meet there every week, and it was a great community of tiers. We came together. We provided materials for those people that were there to tie. Now how things have changed. So as we've come into the studio, last year we just wrapped out that season. We had a lot of feedback from you guys that if we were going to be here in a virtual sense, that we would somehow be able to get you the materials. So this year we built 80 full seasons of materials, and we sold out. It's amazing. Couldn't do it without your guys' support. We're thankful for it. Now what we provided in those packages is enough material to tie each of the patterns we do. So we do 2 patterns a night, and there's enough material to tie each of those patterns twice. Now what gets even better is we've already pre-tied each of those flies and put them in the packages. So
That's a good point.
yeah, if something didn't turn out in the tying for you that night, it's okay. You still got one you can fish. So pretty good value for your dollar. And moving forward, next year we have some lofty goals. We hope to put out a ton more seasons, and we need you guys to do it. So
I call them goals.
goals. Lots of work during the off season. But what we're gonna do this year to make it a little bit better is we're gonna, by the end of this tying season, we're episode 7 of 20. When we finish this season, we're gonna basically have the whole next season ready to go for pre-order. So we're gonna
Don't quote him. Those are the lofty goals.
Is we're gonna have a plan. But we're gonna need to know from you guys kind of who wants it, because it is a lot of work and a lot of preparation. So we don't want to be, this year we probably could have had a few more seasons. There were some other people who wanted them, and unfortunately it's not something you can whip up overnight. It's a lot of work, of weeks of work to get. So at the end of this season, we hope to know a little better for numbers for next season, and see where we go from there.
Yeah. So the idea here was to create a place where we could all just hang out, zero judgment, and we all come here at the same level. Maybe some people have tied for longer, fished for longer, but here in Thursday Night Live, it's irrelevant because we're just here to have a good time. And usually the show runs for about 2 hours, and maybe a little longer. No after party tonight.
Depends on the night.
And we'll do 2 patterns, and you'll see that sometimes that is a small part of the show.
Yep, sometimes it is.
The other thing we do is we give away stuff.
We do.
Tonight,
We've got master plans of how we're going to
big huge plans of things that we're going to be giving away. But first, folks, the most important part of the show is you guys. So let's say hi to you and say where you're from. We've missed a lot of comments.
Yes, we did.
Matt Martin from Chicago.
Hey, Matt.
Da Bears.
The Bears.
You're supposed to say da Bulls.
Oh, the Bulls?
You're too young.
No, Chicago Bulls.
You don't know that skit?
No, I don't know that skit. What are you talking about?
That's a friendship over.
Oh, well.
Seriously?
You're pretty old. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's all right.
That must have been a 90s thing, or maybe an 80s thing.
Maybe.
a
You
long time
are
ago.
15.
I was an 80s baby.
Okay. Baird Sturgeon, Mark Den Beeson, Amber Sir. I always get the hard names.
Look at Sven's
like-
comment.
Who's?
I think you got Braden Miller's shirt.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
About that. I definitely didn't get Dana Lattery's shirt. I think they're sending 3 more, and I'm going to stitch them together.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Blake, Ken from Turner Valley. Good to see you this time. I know we had to catch up. Pills, Carl's drinking a Far.
Nice.
By far,
By far.
is a fantastic brewery and a fantastic beer. And so I was down there last Saturday, and they asked me if I wanted to try the new Weizenbach. I said, why not? And so I brought one for Tim. But the Weizenbach is 8% alcohol per volume.
Yes. And it's a tall boy.
And it's a lot. So, that's probably a week's worth of beer for Tim.
Yeah.
Rob
Started
Merkley,
early.
what's up, brother? Drinking Innocent Gun.
Nice.
Ben Armstrong at the mini bar in my basement. Tom
up, Ben?
DeFrancisco from Hershey. Welcome back, brother. I always appreciate seeing you here. Ted Machowski from Michigan. Whereabouts in Michigan?
Yeah, what part?
You got roots. I got roots.
I got lots of roots there.
He's got lots of family.
All my family's
and,
there.
went to university there to take Thursday Night Living.
Thursday Night Living.
That's funny.
We're going to start our own academy here.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Living.
Cherry Raz from the Bow River Brewing.
Nice. That was a good one, too. I like Cherry Raz.
It was okay.
Was it
the
for you?
Riverfest,
Well, obviously. Riverfest is,
which is next on the docket.
yeah. Hard to beat at Riverfest. That's
Probably one of my favorite beers, if not the favorite. Art Corey, New Hampshire. Alan Schaefer, Michigan. Look at the Michigan representing. Schwen's in the airport waiting for you to pick me up. Well, if
here,
you
brother.
fly into Canada, it's an interesting thing that the government has like a government hotel, internment type camp where they take you for 2 weeks and they monitor you. So,
At your own dime.
yeah, don't come to Canada quite yet.
Yeah. Give it some
John
time.
Miller, Michigan. Amber is in Edmonton, drinking
Amber.
a Keeper's Point from Edgerton, Alberta. Where's Edgerton?
That's a good point.
You thought we'd never ask, but we read your comment. Marvin, Calgary. Bruce, Adelphi on ice in Calgary. Mark Holcomb. Him and Cam were pre-drinking
Yeah.
before the show. Gunner, did you get your tools yet? They have been sent. Jen Lyle wants Tim. Even after I wore
What's up,
that
Jen?
shirt,
Yeah.
she don't want me. So the Ted Machowski on YouTube is asking how much are the kits. So the kits are $280 Canadian, and that's 20 episodes, 2 patterns per night. Essentially, with the material and stuff, you're getting roughly 120 flies, give or take a piece of hackle here and there.
We're not perfect.
But that's Canadian, so about 200 American. Yeah, and so you get them all. Show them what it kind of looks like. since you
Yeah,
got
so
it.
when you get it in your when it was sent to you, sound like so, you get your box, and inside you have all your different episodes. So we have them labeled out. So for instance, this one's season 3, episode 8. That'll be next week's fly. In the back, you can see you got all your materials. And yeah, you got a full 20 episodes on this season. I'm assuming we'll probably stick with those numbers in the coming years as well. But yeah, you get it just like so. All your kits individually wrapped, and your season stickers on there, so you know, or your episode stickers, so you know what's coming up next. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, you basically pull them out, and the materials are all in there. Packaging all these materials is not easy,
no,
and so yeah, but that's what we do. That's
it's a fact.
this is the 3rd year we've been packaging these kits, and it's good that we could get them all done before the season this year. Randall Sale, Cam Woolnuff, Sean Allison, he's already throwing down numbers.
Joke's on you. It's between 100 and 200. Try again.
Yes. Okay, see? Doubles. We get it.
Doubles.
We get it.
I still don't get it.
Okay, so what we need to do, and this was a fantastic request, is for people who don't have the kits, we will tell you some material that we're using. We do post all of the recipes, usually Sunday or Monday before the Thursday. But what we're going to do here is Tim's just going to kind of tell you the materials so you have a few minutes to kind of grab them off the wall or whatnot. And Tim?
Yeah. Okay, so we're tying 2 patterns tonight, like we said. One of them is going to be a stimulator. So you see that one there in the vise. And the other one is going to be a very, very tiny little midge emerger. I'll show you this guy here. That one's real teensy. So that's, I believe, a size 18. So for this first one, we'll talk about the midge first. Really not a lot on this fly. All we have is, in the kits we've provided you basically with black pieces of black thread, this olive colored thread, and a little bit of brass colored wire. Now I'm gonna take you through it when we tie this. We're gonna do it a little bit differently. Like you could just use black thread when you tie, so then you wouldn't actually need to put on the black thread at the top that instead of tying it in and wrapping it forward. I'm gonna show you a couple different ways. This is a super easy bug and super quick. So not a lot of materials there. Basically you're gonna have a little bit of thread and a little bit of brass wire for segmentation. But that's gonna be it for that one.
The cool thing is that is such an effective pattern. When you get the hang of it, which you will tonight, crunch out dozens of those.
100 of them, no problem, yeah. Now, so for this guy, this is our stimulator, and we're tying it as a yellow Sally pattern this time. So you could tie them in a variety of sizes. We've kind of picked on the big side of a yellow Sally, which if you know what that is, it's the smallest stonefly that we have. Well, one of them. It's very, very small. So tonight I believe this one's a size 10. This is a long curved hook. I got a package here like so. So this is gonna be a Dairiki number 270, 3X long. So this is the type of hook we're gonna be using for this one. And now the material list is actually, again, quite simple. And again, we thought outside the box a little bit with materials this time for you guys. So what we've actually done is you can use yellow and orange dubbing. That works just as well. But what we've actually done is we're using just yarn. So we're gonna pull apart some yarn. So I've got bright orange yarn and bright yellow. That's the 2 colors we're gonna need. So we want the body to be orange and the nose to be yellow. Okay, so we're gonna use these 2 different yarns to tie this fly. Then also we're going to need a patch of some body hair, or deer body hair, okay, or belly hair. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be like a Comparadun hair or anything like that. This is just a generic hair that we're gonna be using. Preferably in a tan color like you see in here, just to represent more of the wing color, and the tail is gonna be similar. And then we're gonna be using 2 different colors of hackle. So you don't have to get crazy. These don't have to be super expensive. So I got just a whiting Herbert Minor dry fly hackle here, and kind of a high-end dry, just in a different color. So we're gonna use a grizzly for the front nose, which is gonna represent more the legs in the front. And then we'll use a reddish color brown for the hackle in the body, which you see back here. Okay, that's really it. There's not a lot to this one. You got your deer hair, you got your hackle, and we're gonna use those 2 different colors of yarn. We also need a small piece of brass colored wire, or gold, even black. It doesn't. The wire is not so important. It's just to secure the hackle in the back, which is also in your kit. So pretty simple. Hopefully that answers your questions. Now for so you can prepare what kind of thread you're going to use. I'm going to tie for this guy here. I'm going to be tying it on a uni 8/0. This is going to be in black, and then I'm actually going to be tying that midge with kind of one of my new favorite threads, and I'm just going to use white because I'm going to show you how I'm going to make it black at the head. But this is just nano. This is nano thread. This is expensive. It's small and very strong, and I like using it on small bugs. If you don't have something like nano thread, that's fine. Pick something small. So go no bigger than 8/0, or that would be like a 70 denier. Don't go any bigger than that, because we don't want to build up bulk on that hook. We just want a little bit of thread. Okay, so that's what I'll be using for thread tonight. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do for the flies tonight. We'll come back to
leaving you there.
You just leave me
with a pregnant pause.
Yeah.
It makes you so uncomfortable.
It does, because you can't hardly see my head, and then there's just a big fly, and you know.
Yeah. So Jarrett McRitchie, new from Calgary. Jarrett,
hey, Jarrett,
did you go to the brewery and get your free kit?
That's a good point. We didn't mention that.
Let us know, because we do give away. Giveaway is a weird word, because we're going to give away stuff today.
We provide.
Yeah. 20 kits every week to the brewery. The Bow River Brewing is the brewery. Mm-hmm. So if you're in Calgary area, go down there. I think Tuesday they put them out, and they're free. It's our give back to the community that we guide in. So, Jarrett, if you did not get a kit, make sure next week you do get a kit. Bow River Brewing, they're just off of Glenmore and Blackfoot.
Yep.
Glenmore, Blackfoot-ish, whatever. And say I want a free kit.
Yep.
And if you're thirsty, grab some beer. And if you're not,
It's not a requirement to buy beer while
Nope.
you're there. It's just we do like to support the local brewery. That's why we put the packages there.
all right. Salut, Jacques.
Jacques.
Gunner, no. I'm so behind on the comments.
Yeah.
Did you tell them the thread?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Well, I'm doing other things here.
Well, Sven said he's busy drinking water and working out
I
so he
know.
can fit into a
I
children's
know.
size small t-shirt.
I was also doing sit-ups over here.
Yeah.
Trying to get back into that shirt. I had to cut it to get out. And the Shore scissors are really sharp. So
they are.
they
You don't wanna
made
mess around.
quick work of that shirt. Is there a tool package to purchase as well? I think I'm reading this right. So you need tools to tie. And no. But our friends at RockyMountainFlyShop.net, they have a ton of really cool packages and fly tying kits that you can buy from them, and they'll ship it to you. And I would bet that Tammy would have that to you before next Thursday.
Pretty quick, yep.
Yeah, and so they're
sure, if you're
based out
local.
of Olds, which is about 45 minutes north of Calgary. And they are a sponsor and great friends of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they've given us a whole ton of stuff to give to you guys as giveaways throughout the season. So definitely support them.
Yeah.
They are now a Norvice
Yeah.
dealer, and they are a shore fishing dealer. So the marriage of sponsors is pretty freaking cool.
Very cool.
And Jarrett, on this show here, it's not just fly tying. If you have any fishing questions, ask them here, because like I said before, the tying the flies, especially tonight, will go pretty quick. But we're here just to talk all things fishing and life, and
Yep.
no politics. Not here.
Not politics.
No, no. And then, I mean, Doug throws in a good joke.
Yeah.
And we all know
We do know.
we cannot wait. Okay, Barry, welcome. Good luck in Norvice. Yeah, so we have Tim and Chaz in the Norvice March Madness in February.
Yeah.
Did I read that wrong?
No, I think so. That's
February.
right. Well, yeah. So it starts, I think, our first. So just a little short explanation of it. It's done a lot like March Madness basketball, where it tees off. This year, I think they have 64 tires, and it's just meant to be a friendly competition. It's meant to be fun. You're bracketed left side, right side, and you basically each week you're going to compete. So on a Sunday, they'll tell you what category you're going to be tying out of. You get creative. You tie. You take pictures of your flies, and they're gonna get posted to the Norvice Facebook page, and then it's just your votes that count for us. So if you like our fly, you like us, even if our fly sucks, you can vote for it. And
no.
basically,
Don't say if they like you.
well, maybe a little plug there, but yeah, it's just meant to be a friendly competition. Norvice it's a lot of work that they're putting into this. A lot of great sponsors for it as well. But yeah, so Chas and me, there's a couple other Canadians that are actually, the Canadians won last year. So, but there was 32 tires last year. This year they doubled it. So we're excited to see how it goes. But stay kind of posted with, or stay tuned with Norvice, and you'll see starting, I believe, February 14th is when we find out our first category. And then every week after that until the elimination is done. So kind of a cool little competition. Just meant to be fun. That's the biggest thing. Not supposed to be too serious, but
Fun.
yeah, something like that. And Chas and I are on the same bracket, so we're on the left side, so we could tie off. I think we just got to get through a couple.
You potentially could meet up.
We could meet up. I hope that happens, because that means we keep advancing. But
Ryan Stezak, is that relatively the same as the 200R? Again, if we don't get to your comments right away, ask again. And like this one, it might have come from a comment before, so
yeah,
re-ask the question. Can you tie the emerger with orange thread? You
can do whatever you want, Steve.
But red, black, and this pale olive is probably more or less the emerger the emerger. It's not an emerger. It's a larva.
Yeah, larva. Sorry.
That'd be
Midge
Jen.
larva.
Got the free kit and picked up a 6-pack. Eric,
Nice.
fantastic. And the brewery appreciates you guys supporting them. But again, it's not required, but it goes a long ways. Yes, Ken, buy some beer when you go. Please send me a kit along with the vaccine for COVID. Well, it appears that the vaccine is just our DNA.
Norman
Appears
Wells.
to be-
Isn't that a place in Northwest Territories?
It's a bank. It's
Pretty
also
sure
a
it's
place.
That's
you-
where.
He's in the Bahamas. It's Russ's
that's
buddy.
Russ's buddy,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. The bear. Hey guys, Jacques. I'm so behind on this.
Send some vaccine. I like it.
Tim's Shoreside scrambled eggs. I don't know. Can you?
I'm confused.
Oh, the breakfast on the camping trip.
Yes.
The overnight trip we did was so fantastic. The hot pink Norvise. So it looks hot pink, but it's actually purple.
It's purple. I stole my kid's Vice today, so you can
Not
see it.
sure why it's showing up purple,
Pink.
but it's
It does look
or
kind
pink.
of pinkish
yeah,
there, but
in there. But it is
purple.
purple. It is the purple.
It's good lighting, I guess.
Jim in Calgary drinking Old Man Winter Porter from Ripstone Creek Brewery, tying on my Norvise. Welcome, Jim, watching on YouTube. Where can you vote? I believe it's on the Norvise Instagram page.
It's actually the Norvise Facebook page will be the only place you can vote. Yeah.
And we got some competition for Doug's jokes. Did you hear the new Canadian strain of COVID-19? It's asymptomatic.
Oh, wow. A.
We gotta hit the air horn.
We gotta have that as a sound effect. That's
It is. It's right here.
Is it? Oh man, I can't
just
hear it, but
put it in
let me.
here.
I gotta hear how good
Yeah,
this
he
is.
loves this because is everybody here watching? Well, we're Canadian, so it probably came to us 10 years late. But Superstore on Netflix.
Yeah.
This is just for Tim. He
Give it
wants
to
to
me.
hear the sound effect.
Love it. It's too good.
Yeah. Okay. How do you tell the difference in thread thickness? Usually it says on your thread, there's a number. Okay, we're gonna tie some flies, folks. Let's tie some flies, and then we'll come back and play with you guys. Play with you guys. I didn't say that. Okay.
Playing with himself.
Tim, it's you. And I'm going to head over to the tickle trunk and figure out some giveaways.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Okay, guys. So we're gonna start off with the. We're gonna go with the Midge Larvae is where we're gonna start tonight. So if you go into your kits, if you have them, if not, just follow along with the materials you see. You're gonna go in. Now be careful as always when you open up your packages. Find a nice surface to dump out the materials because there are hooks in the bottom of the bag, and we don't want you to lose them. Okay. So I'm gonna start by grabbing out this guy here, and this one's gonna be our Midge Larvae. Super simple tie. It's not gonna take us long, but we'll go through this one real quick. So I'm just gonna get the bag open, get my materials out, and we'll get that hook that's in there. Also in your bag, you're gonna have one extra hook to tie this pattern. So either or, grab it and get it secured in the vise. There's just some small materials in this one, so I'm just gonna be nice and careful pulling this out so we don't lose anything.
That is a good thing to mention.
Yes, because I know that some people have opened packages and said that they don't have the materials in there. And I'm not saying that that isn't the case because we're not perfect either, and it's a lot of packaging to do. But it definitely is a thing that those hooks or beads can be trapped in the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna take my hook. Again, this is real tiny. This is a size 18 we're tying on tonight, probably the smallest thing we've tied on the show so far. And actually, I'm going to quickly change out my jaws. So on the Norvise, we have this pretty cool option of having these midge jaws. So when you're tying real tiny stuff, it can give you a little better access to the hook bend. It just gives you a little better angle to work at. There we go. Not very big. One moment, I'm gonna get a little bit adjusted. There we go. Good. So this is the hook we're tying on. Pretty tiny, I know. Now, like I said before, the thread that I'm gonna use for this guy is I'm gonna be using some nano thread, and I'm gonna be using white. If you have black, it's a really good option too, 'cause it's gonna save you a step on this fly. But I'm gonna show you a kind of a cool product that I like that I've been working with as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by just getting my thread started behind the eye. Make sure it's good and secure. We'll go ahead and trim out that tag. Now you can tie this pattern on a curved hook as well. And on a curved hook, it has a little bit different appearance. It's gonna look maybe even a little bit more midge-like. But this is just fine, okay? So it's just meant to be, these midge larvae are tiny, tiny little bugs. We're just barely putting any material on here, but that's what we're gonna do here. So first thing we wanna do, in here you have some green colored, kind of olive colored thread, some black thread, and then you have this little bit of copper colored wire, okay? So we're gonna start by grabbing that wire and unwinding it, making sure we don't crease it up too bad. So I'm just gonna unwind it here. And when you put it in there, it can get kind of wound up on itself, so just be careful. Or you could just drop it like I did. It's even better. What I do with my wire here. I got it. It's all good. So you don't need a very long piece of this. But it is easy to lose it because this is size small ultra wire, which is very, very tiny. It's pretty much the only time we use this stuff is on flies that are this small. So I'm gonna take this wire, I'm gonna lay it in behind the eye, and I'm gonna secure it. Now, as I go rearward, I'm gonna allow it to get pushed to the far side of the fly, so that'd be the near side to you. And we're gonna come slightly into the hook bend. Not too far, just slightly. Okay, now we're gonna back our thread back up to about midway on the hook point there, or hook shaft, sorry. And we're gonna grab this olive colored thread. Now this is literally just olive colored thread. There's nothing special about it. Okay, you can have a few strands there. I'm gonna leave those few strands together. I'm just gonna make sure I trim off the tips so they're even. And now I'm gonna tie those in as well. And we're gonna take those back towards the rear. So you can see I took a wrap and I'm gonna pull those materials back to where my thread went in, okay? Just so I can cover them up. And I'm gonna work this back. I'm gonna work this thread right back to where I left that wire. Okay, then I'll bring my thread forward. Like we've talked about a lot over the past week, or the last few weeks actually, is just throwing half hitches in to save your work. So I'm just gonna use the end of my my whip finish tool here just to add a quick little half hitch. I'm gonna get my thread out of the way. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab that green thread, or olive colored thread, and I'm gonna do touching wraps, okay? Touching wraps all the way forward.
Cam wants to know if you can find a smaller hook.
Yes, we can. Maybe we'll make you tie a size 22 midge next time. They do get smaller, believe it or not. I don't normally go smaller than this, guys. This is, for our waters here, I know that there's some tail waters that are definitely more heavily pressured than what we have, but for the most part, I don't know, do you ever fish smaller than an 18?
Have I ever fished an 18?
Have you ever? Yeah, maybe you have never fished an 18.
If it's not a size 4 worm, I haven't fished it.
So all I've done there, guys, is I've tied off that thread now. So that just requires a couple of wraps behind it and a couple of wraps in front of it. Then I'm gonna come in here and trim this out. Being careful not to take my thread with it. Okay. Now, next piece of this, I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did last time. I'm gonna throw another half hitch in. This time I'll just use my fingers to do it.
Look at them.
And something that's kind of my pet peeve that you can see there is, this watch is end badly for me, but when you have extra little pieces of thread that kind of get in the way, there we go, I did it. Just for you guys.
How many times?
This is the third time today?
This has been an absolute Miracle, folks. I'm still here.
Yes, you're here.
Even though his thread isn't,
So this
I
is,
am.
we like to make mistakes so that you can see that we're just human.
So the problem with a Norvise bobbin, there isn't really any, but
There is one problem.
yeah,
What I just did is the problem.
it is just not fun when that thread snaps and she goes,
So it retracts.
yeah,
So if you
because
cut
it is a retractable bobbin, which is super fantastic, but at
As
the
long
same
as you can
time,
control it.
you let her go.
You let her go, she's gone.
You only know you love her if you let her go.
So I'm gonna come in, just put a half hitch again. And this time, I'm gonna try not to cut it.
Look at that.
So all we need to do, that does look good, doesn't it? Nice and tight. Now I'm gonna grab that wire, and all we're gonna
meant
do is
like my shirt.
tight like
That
your
is-
shirt. Tight like my shirt on you.
Cam even said size small, like Dana's shirt.
Nice.
Maybe
So,
I'm
we're
just
just
size
gonna-
large.
We're using this wire to create segmentation in this fly, okay? So all we're gonna do is some nice open spiral as we come forward with it. Not too tight, just nice and open.
So what I'm gonna get you to do is unwrap that after.
And then use
And
the
then-
function.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
so people can see, because I mean,
So
it's a Norvise.
it is an Orvise. This is and guys, normally when I'm tying on this, I try not to use, it's kind of hard,
Yeah.
but I try not to use the functions of the Norvise only because I know not everybody has them or has a rotary vise. But so I'll unwind this real quick. And just do it the way I would do it. So with the Norvise, I would just be using the rotary function. To get me to that point. So it's really tough to see that wire in there, guys, because it is super small, but it does make a difference. Maybe even using a different colored wire, you might get a little different, you know, it would look a little stronger in one color or the other.
JB Lloyd, it's an 18.
What's that, sir? Oh,
It
yep.
just asked what size it was.
Yeah, sorry, size 18 here is what we're doing. So don't use your good scissors if you're cutting wire. You can helicopter these off. And everybody's got their own way of getting wire out of the way, but I'm telling you, helicoptering has just never been my thing. I don't know why, I just don't get it to work. But I do carry a pair of crummy scissors that are Dana's, and I just cut out my wire.
You don't carry them. I carry them for you.
That's true.
So a comment here was, this looks like a dry fly hook. A 200R would be better. So the thing with the midge larva, if you've seen a midge larva, they're really long. And so when you get into some more of those nymph sprouts, those really curved hooks, which when these midge larvas are in the water column, I feel like I'm in like a closet talking
Yeah.
to you guys. They will curl up, but they're sometimes very long, which is why we chose this hook. But yes, a 200R,
It's a good choice.
yeah, there's
Well-
nothing wrong. The dry fly hook doesn't float-ish.
No.
Like, I mean, it's
But this isn't gonna sink fast, like it's too small to sink fast anyway. So really, the only reason you'd be tying it with a good heavy nymph sprout hook is just for durability because it
down.
is so small, right? So you want it to stay in that mouth. But like Dana said, those midges, yes, like often when you tie like a zebra midge, you have it on a bit of a curved hook because they're at that point they're in a different life cycle, right?
Yeah.
This is
The
a larva.
larva.
So it's just not the same. And I'm sure it makes very little difference, but for us from a standpoint of the aesthetic pleasing to the stage of the bug, that's why we're tying it on a straight hook.
But Maurice, perfect. That's the good stuff, guys. Is those comments? If you guys don't know what a 200R is, the Googler is your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool.
And we don't always have the right answers, but we'll do our best to give you
And
our answers.
that's good stuff for us to become better fly tyers and fishermen. So appreciate it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do from here, guys, if you have that black thread that we had provided in there, was simply so that if you didn't have black thread, you could tie this in and then wrap it just over the head of the fly to make it look black. Okay? That's it. If not, all I'm going to do is I'm going to whip finish it, and you can either put a Sharpie to the head and make it black, or I'm going to show you this product here. kind of cool Solarez color. They got a bunch of these color resins now, and this one is in black. So I'll just show you how I'm going to use that. All we're looking for is a little bit of a bulbous head that's a little larger in diameter than the rest of the body, and we just want it to be black. So I'm going to take my thread and build up a little bit of a head on this guy. Nothing crazy, but we do want a little bit of difference in size.
And to be honest, you could tie this entire fly with the olive thread and then just throw some black Solarez on the top, throw some black ink on the top.
Yeah, anything. Sharpie.
Sharpie. That's my ink.
That's your ink.
In packaging a fly like this is why we tried to add some of those materials.
Just in case you didn't have them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of some of those. So there's a couple options here. I tied a couple that were, let me see here if I can show you. This guy here has no resin on it. Okay, that's just bare bodied. Versus this guy here, I put some bone dry resin over the entire body. So it gives it a little bit different look. Okay, it smooths it out, but it also doesn't allow the definition of those wire wraps to really stand out as segmentations. So for this one, I'm not going to put resin on it except for the head, just because I'm going to use this black stuff to cover it up. So whether you took a Sharpie here, okay, so I could take a Sharpie, just come in here and make this black.
No Solarez?
But I'm going to do the Solarez instead, because I want to. Because we got this cool product. So this stuff is good.
Look what I brought to the show.
Ooh, you brought her.
I brought Resina.
So I'm just going to touch it as I go around.
I'm so nervous, and it's really bad when she shows up.
What I do like about this Solarez on the head of this fly is it gives it a little bit of bulk, and it makes it appear quite shiny. It just gives it a little bit different appearance, which I like. Personal preference, again, probably makes little to no difference at all. And that's cured, and that's your midge.
Midge larva.
Midge larva. What you're gonna see, guys, is we're gonna do a few. I think we got maybe 3 or 4 midges in total this season. So a midge, it's a super simple tie, but it's extremely, extremely effective. And the more finicky the water is, like the fish are, this is when these get even better to fish. It's just some people stray away from them because they're small, but they're not. Who cares what size they are? When you're tying them, they're all so simple that they're not a high difficulty level. And when you fish them, you're normally nymphing them or you're under a hopper dropper and you barely know they're there. So that is our midge larva.
An interesting thing is people think that they have to reinvent the wheel and come up with some crazy pattern that's super hard to tie, but probably the most effective patterns are 2 materials.
2-3 materials max, yeah.
Yeah, and they're very simple to tie. So if you're tying to catch fish, a fly box full of these is
a couple different colors.
Gonna catch fish.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Some worms. They're gonna catch fish. You know, a couple materials.
A couple materials.
Okay, so that is the midge larva. Bone dry black in Canada. What did we got Solarez in black.
Yeah, so bone dry is this guy here, and I think you're referring to the same thing, but this bone dry is actually clear, but this new colored stuff, they're just calling it UV Cure color resin, and they have a few different colors. So there's black, there's red, there's orange, there's yellow, green. But yeah, I actually really liking it. Let's say the red, for instance, you finish up a bait fish pattern and you just want to stick some of the red resin as a bit of a gill plate. It's such an easy thing to just add and cure. So I'm liking it.
So explain the difference in Solarez. So there's thin, medium,
thick,
flexible. Like there's like
thick. There's flexible. There's bone dry, which is like basically head cement, super thin. Probably my favorite one.
Yeah, it's most applicable to a lot of patterns.
Yeah.
As a glue.
As a glue, yeah. Because you don't want to use big, thick UV resin on a lot of things. But there's a lot of, like, let's say let's say on a pheasant tail, you want to create a nice thorax or a little bubble in the thorax. Well, even the thin is thick, and I like to use the thin. The thick stuff, I only use it for like big pike, like where I'm building heads out.
When you're
eyes.
building.
Yeah, building. It's the best thing for it. Yeah.
But it's really hard to work with because it's globby.
Super globby, tacky.
Yeah.
And if it touches anything that it's not supposed to, it's. Yeah.
If you're not building heads or putting eyes inside of some sort of a resin.
Where'd that fly go that we did?
No,
not that one.
I think anyways, you look for that.
I'll look.
So, what are some other colors for this fly? Red, black, olive, purple. Not that purple is a color, but purple is a fish color.
It's a trout color.
So maybe something like that.
If you come
do you want me to bring you back to?
Yeah. So if you come back in here and look on this, for instance, this baitfish pattern. So all I've done is super glued eyes on there, and then I filled the gap in with a. This is only thin too. This isn't even thick, Solarez. But what I've found, and I mean, everybody has their opinion on the products they like. There's a lot of products I haven't used, but I have used Loon, and I have used Solarez. I used to be a Loon guy. The reason I switched to Solarez is for one thing only, and that's when I cure this, it's not tacky anymore. That's one thing that really frustrated me with some other UV resins. So, but yeah, that's where we would be using to build up a head, right? Building up a little bit more to create a nice durable head. Now that's not going to be a weakness. Those eyes aren't coming off, nothing like that. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
I think it was Wayne. No, who asked that about the Solarez? Go with bone dry, and when you get used to using a UV resin, then you can jump up. Well, you can jump whenever you want, but that bone dry is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And if you have a rotary vise, you can spin it and create a bubble back on some of these smaller nymph flies because it will droop. And as it starts to droop, boom, hit it with the light.
Yeah.
Energy drinks. One for me.
None for me.
What did we have today?
What are we going to have more of today? That's a better question. So Dana, I mean, we know he's the bearded baker. If you didn't know that, Dana can bake. He, whether it's hunting in the blind or special days in the river, he can create anything. But today, he went above and beyond, and he made donuts. And these things are legit.
Yeah, custard-filled donuts.
Sugared outside, delicious. Yeah, that's why that shirt looked a little tighter than it should have.
Yeah. And then you made me wear that.
Yeah.
Okay, questions here. Vices, always a good question, and we have some advice for you guys. Doug, was that your joke? Did I steal it from you? Okay.
Nice. Well done.
Budget is the first thing. We made a YouTube video, if you go on our Fly Fishing Bow River YouTube page, about what's important in a vise, the jaws. So the Norvise has interchangeable jaws. So you can see small for this midge. We'll take you back to this camera. Those are kind of everything in between. And then we do have the bigger jaws somewhere.
This exact jaw, but bigger for streamers.
Yeah. So your jaw needs to hold your hook, and your hook should bend, hopefully not break, but bend before it falls out.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest problem with cheaper vices is that the jaws fail. And from experience, you'll learn that when hooks fall out on you, it's super frustrating and it's not enjoyable to tie. So you need jaws that can hold your hooks and hold them well. The other thing about a vise is it mounted like a Norvise? Is it it has a base like the Regal, okay, and then there's a C-clamp style that Tim has over there, and you got to clamp it to a table. Okay, that's one of the more inexpensive vices, still a great vise. And then you start asking yourself the question of rotary, to rotate or not. And like Tim showed us earlier, that if you have a good, highly functioning rotary vise, less of this.
Yeah.
Okay. And now if you're not a production tire, maybe that doesn't matter. But I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun when you can just spin the vise and let that do the work for you.
So when it comes to rotary, there's really two categories of rotary. There's an inline rotary system, which Norvise is really the only true one. That vise that Dana just showed me, or showed you, is my Regal Revolution. They would say that's an inline, but it's not. But
Kinda
what's key?
clunky on the rotary.
Yeah, it's just not the same. But what's important about, in my opinion, if you're gonna buy a vise, you should never buy a vise unless you can rotate it. It doesn't have to be a rotary vise, but if you can't turn it simply upside down or one way or the other, I would say save it a little longer, because you want to be able to see the underside of your fly by you moving it, not by opening your jaws, flipping over the hook, and putting it back in.
Yeah.
So
super good
those
point.
are things that can be a super frustration point. And I'm just reading a couple of these comments, even talking specifically about the Norvise, and it's a good perspective because people think, well, this is the highest end vise there is. It's like it is of the highest level. Same with that with that Regal. That's
Regal.
that's about as high end as you can get.
Renzetti's.
Renzetti too. You can get their top end vices, but the thing is, like the comment I just read said, still when you're completely set up with this setup, it's still cheaper than a high end rod, just one. Well, how many flies are you going to tie out of this vise, right? Like it's using the perspective of, yes, it is an investment, but if you don't have something to hold a hook, and it doesn't have to be Norvise. I love Norvise, but it doesn't have to be Norvise. But if it doesn't hold your hook, like Dana's the prime example. He hasn't tied a fly in, well, not very many, in a couple years. He got a Norvise, and he's been spinning flies I call him every day, he's tying flies, because he enjoys it again.
Couple hundred
like, which is exciting for me, because
that's a fact.
I tried to explain to him the importance of a good vise, and he knows that, but until he had one in his hands, he just didn't realize how fun it could actually be to tie again. So
it's truth. It's fact. So there's budget. Budget's always a question. Peak. Sven, he ties on 800 different vices.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah, Sven, you're probably a good one to talk about this, because I know you tied a Norvise, you have Norvise, but you have a lot of different vices. Like what do you suggest? Because you probably have some that are less expensive to top end.
The Renzetti Traveler, great vise. Tied on it. That was my first vise, and Cam, I think's tying on it. Well, breaking thread on it. Oh, there it is. I F that up.
He just knows. He knows when he needs to be there.
But feel free after the show to send us a message and talk about vices. I think it's a question I don't know if we'll ever fully answer. Somebody else commented here about the Norvise being a system.
Yeah.
And that's a really great way to put it, because with the auto bobbins, so game changer, literally. The fact that they
something else he stayed away from for a while.
Retract.
And now he's wrecked. He's ruined.
Yeah. The shore bobbin is super freaking awesome, and that also changes the game. So don't cheap out on your bobbin. Make sure it's one that has good pressure at all levels, so it's not like jerky. It won't be fun to tie. I think it's like when people ask me about cameras and fly rods. I haven't used them all, and so I haven't used all the vices. Tim hasn't used all the vices. What were you tying on season 1?
That was a Stonefo.
Stonefo. Great vice.
Great vice. Stonefo is another high-end system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stonefo, I tied on a Vision vice for a while. I've tied on a lot of different vices, and they all have their, like, honestly, guys, and it comes down to, for me, 2 things. Like Dana says, you should bend your hook before it comes out, and you have to be able to rotate it. If those are the 2 things that hits my list, then I'm happy to tie on it.
Okay, questions back here. And I thought of a few things when I was in the tickle trunk.
Ooh, tickle trunk. Do tell.
One of them is this. So Sunday, I think, I made a post on Instagram, and I was just kind of doing some life lessons. And the last one was about generosity. And so I was just giving away a $100 Starbucks gift card. And it was really cool because it was kind of like a ripple effect. And a lot of people started giving stuff away. It's not to attract followers. It's just a genuine giveaway. The coolest thing that came out of that was one of our clients from last year messaged me and said, I don't know if he's going to hate me for saying the whole story, but he, the last few years running his business, it kind of became pretty cutthroat. And he didn't like the person that he came home and saw in the mirror. And so in March of last year, some things happened in life and gave him a perspective change. So he said to me, what I want to do is I want to buy a trip with you guys this summer. And I want you guys to give it to somebody who needs a pick-me-up, who probably couldn't afford to go on a trip. And it just kind of blew my mind that somebody wants to buy a stranger a fly fishing trip. And it's not cheap. And he wanted nothing in return. He didn't want a pat on the back. He just literally wanted to make somebody's day. So what we want to do, obviously, with the borders being closed, where this extends to, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we want to hear some stories, and we want to know from you guys who needs this trip. It's not us giving it away. We're being paid for it. Whoever guides that day will be paid for it. But Brett is paying for the whole thing. And so if you know somebody who needs a pick-me-up, COVID's kicked a lot of people's asses.
Everything, yeah.
And I think that's pretty freaking cool. So
There's nothing like it. But that speaks to our community, guys. Like, we know the good people we have in it. And someone like Brett thoroughly enjoyed my time with him on the river and knew he was a good dude. And he just speaks to it. So yeah, let's hear it. Let's,
Yeah, and you don't have to throw them in the comments. Gonna make a post here the next few days. And Kelly Lee, what's up, brother? It's my brother from Wyoming.
Oh yeah, nice.
So let us know
Kelly, yeah.
who needs a pick-me-up. There's no stipulations on this trip. It's paid for, covered. Brett is taking care of everything. You just gotta show up, have a fishing license. And on our guided trips, we include everything. Waders, boots, whatever you need. Fly rods, flies. Maybe we'll fish a stimmy. We don't, not out of the boat. I hate those things. They don't float.
Sink.
But yeah. I'm so behind on the comments. But I just wanted to throw that out there because the power of generosity is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I encourage you guys, wherever you are in your community, to give to people. Trout Maharishi is giving away a 71 Ford limited station wagon. It's on the blog.
You gotta come
I
get it.
think he said he's in the North Carolina. And so that's pretty cool of Brett. So let us know, folks. Chocolate croissants, yes. I really hope that goes to someone who really deserves it. Yeah. I don't know how to pick, but I think just
that's a tough one. But
hearing some stories and we'll go from there. It's pretty cool. But what Rocky Mountain Fly Shop wants to do tonight is give away this.
Ooh, nice. Pretty epic kit.
How awesome is that?
Core fly tying toolkit.
Those guys over there, absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, very generous.
And as soon as we're done tying up the stimmy, we're gonna give this away. Are your seats on the front porch? I'm not sure, Randall, what you mean by that.
I don't know.
Yes, Michelle. Well, I'm glad this story picked you up. Just another good story that I don't even know if we've talked about, but, you know, I don't even know if people want me to say it, but, you know, just Barrett and what he, you know, given away, bought one of the kits for a good buddy and gave it away to him and sent me the video. And it just like, I just freaking love that stuff. So, everybody's typing in numbers. So,
Patience is not picking yet.
this will not be a numbers game. Trust me.
No numbers game tonight.
No, I got a better idea.
Better idea. Finally. It's a letter this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a comment. Just it said basically simply pay it forward. It doesn't barely cost you anything. Whether it's you're in the Tim Hortons line or whatever you guys have in the States, I don't know. Buy somebody coffee. You know, just do something small, but it's so meaningful for someone in their day. Who knows? Who knows what happened to them or is going on in their life? It doesn't take much to get someone to pick up.
The person that won the gift card or give the $100 gift card to, they said that they're going to take their friend, go through the drive-thru, buy coffee, and then leave the gift card for the person behind them.
That's awesome.
And I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, couldn't be a better
So
use.
awesome. So,
Yeah.
Okay. This loon fly tying kit, you know, if you're just getting into tying, it's hard to see with all
It's
the
a pretty good one to have. I think it's got
But yeah.
bobbin, scissor,
Whip
hackle
finisher,
plier, bodkin,
hackle pliers, scissors.
literally everything you need to get started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can just use your fingers for your
For your-
vice. And,
Yeah.
and then the vice conversation is over.
Yep.
Dunkin' Donuts is better than Tim Hortons.
Ooh, Sean.
Well, Sean,
I don't argue with that.
I do.
I don't.
Because I lived in Providence for a year. And our arena was the Dunkin' Donut Center.
Oh, really? Dunkin' Donuts Center.
And so I think Dunkin' Donuts must have started out on the East Coast. And the donut side is better. The coffee side, both are terrible.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Like you go like, so I have a little bit different order. I like honey in my coffee.
Please tell us all that's in your order.
Cream and honey. That's it. But let me tell you, I don't
Decaf.
think 2 days in a row will you ever get the same taste of coffee. It's like, but we keep going back for more every day.
Yeah.
Order another one. Maybe this day will be good.
Until you come here and get
The right donut.
a flat white and a custard-filled donut.
I did get a flat white from Dane today too. That was pretty excellent.
How do you get 30 drunk Canadians to get out of the pool? Just ask them. That is the truth. Oh, sorry now.
So
Don't
sorry.
you know?
Don't you know?
Oh, Mark.
Oh,
He had all the deer hair explode in front of him. What thread? Just so everybody can get...
Yeah, I'm using that what I said, guys. Where did it go here? This one here. So I'm just using a uni thread in 8/0 black.
How much do you love uni thread?
So we just talking about this. I'm not a fan of uni thread. I don't know what it is. I already broke this 3 times and I was tying up earlier.
Let's make it 4.
You're about to see it. Yep. It is what it is.
Sean, we love you too. There's no hard feelings here, ever.
Never.
Okay, guys, let's get started on the Stimulator. You notice the dirty jokes tonight have been at a 0?
It's because we're trying to make up for last week's rough go.
Hey, last week was,
Yeah.
was rough.
Who let Jen Lyle out of her
So,
cage?
but without much, did she pass out?
I don't know. She hasn't been
been
here in a while.
Jen?
I wouldn't take off my shirt and then she left, so.
Yeah, uni thread is so 1993. That's a fact. And I think these, well, they're also called bobbins, aren't they? Like the thread spools.
Yeah.
They were wrapped in 1993
Yeah.
because they're so dry.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Cam, you have hair everywhere. Manscape.
Yes, be careful. So in the kits, guys, there's just free hair. Now you can hate us for it or love us for it, either or. But it's talk about something that's hard to package. It's deer hair. So be patient with it. Try to keep the tips at least in the same general direction. And we'll stack it and worry about it later.
I honestly don't know how to pack that better.
Well, last year we even tried to tape bucktail. It was terrible.
I glued them.
Yeah, you tried a hot glue gun too.
I did.
Yeah.
I tried everything.
Yeah.
Well, I think what we need to do before we get into the stimulator is play my mix that I made.
You should, yeah.
Because
he got garage bandy on us.
I think you got to put in your headphones.
I will.
So I got bored and I tried to be a DJ. Let me know what you guys think as you get your thread woven into your bobbin, and we'll get started on the stimulator.
Not bad, not bad. It's grooving. Sounds a little Seinfeldy.
Probably gonna let the record out soon. At least start with an EP.
Oh yes, you should. Okay guys, well we're jamming. Let's get our stuff out of here.
Peanut butter jam and cue the porn music. That's exactly what it is.
It totally is.
Oh, I tried my best, folks. I got bored. And here we are.
It's pretty good.
Making porn music because it is the stimulator.
Are you stimulated?
Stimulate us, Tim.
I wish I had a big mustache right now.
You could.
The only thing I
Oh
could.
yeah. All right.
All right.
Back to the program.
Stimulator. That's a really nice looking fly. I hope the next one looks this good.
I doubt
If it doesn't, I'll just slide this one back in.
70s porn. We're not even giving it credit for being 80s porn.
Nope. Old. Okay, guys. So we've got this long shank curved hook that we talked about earlier. We're going to go ahead and get that secured in our vise. Good. So we actually going to tip that forward a little bit just because we're going to try to get access to where we're going to tie in the tail. And we want a little bit of a downward turn to do that. Not much, but a little bit. I got to get this headphone out. I cannot do the reverberation.
It's so funny.
It's so hard.
You're a rookie.
I can't do it.
There's like a millisecond delay in the headphone.
Yeah, just enough though.
But I need to hear it.
You're used to it. Okay, so I got my black thread here, guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and start it behind the eye. We're gonna lay down a pretty good thread base on this fly. So go ahead, work your thread to the back. I'm just gonna whip it back here. Doesn't have to perfectly cover the whole hook. We're just trying to get a nice little thread base laid down right up into that hook bend.
And that's how a Norvise works.
Yes, it is. Tighten this up a little bit.
See, what I found works better is putting it down so it's super in line.
A little
the
deeper,
eye of the
yeah.
hook. Yeah.
It on most hooks, yeah, you can do that. Unfortunately, we need access to the back of this one, but we can maybe go a little deeper, but not too much. We need access to the back there. So you're gonna have lots of hair in your package there, and like we said, we apologize for the way it's packaged. I don't know how better to do it. Generally, we just need to keep those tips pointed semi-forward because we're gonna be stacking it. So you're gonna have a few materials in there. You're gonna have a piece of wire. So a piece of copper colored wire. So set that aside so you don't lose it. Or here's this yarn we were talking about. Okay, so we got a piece of orange and a piece of yellow. And this is what we're gonna use to build this fly out of, okay? So first thing we need to do though is we need to set the tail. And so just take this process as it comes. This fly can be a little intimidating because there is a lot of things that sometimes scare people, i.e. deer hair and hackle. And multiple times they're gonna put hackle in. But we're actually gonna teach you a couple techniques we haven't gone over yet, which are kind of fun, okay? So we wanna bring our thread back.
Randall needs some Dramamine,
some Dramamine?
which is gravel in Canada.
I could do
It's
that.
an American gravel.
Oh yes.
He's dizzy from the spinning.
Getting dizzy from
Yes.
spinning. Nice. Okay, so we got our deer hair here. Now, how much do I take for this tail? And it takes a little bit of getting used to know. But what I suggest is always take more than you're gonna use, because once we pull out the under fur and we get it all adjusted and you end up dropping a few fibers, you normally are shorter than you need to be. So I'm gonna take a clump that's maybe half of a pencil width, we say. Okay, so it's gonna look about like this much. I'm gonna cut it off. This one is actually on a little bit of a patch, a little better. But what I wanna do is take it like so. I'm gonna grab the tips, even though they're not aligned yet, but there's gonna be some junk back here. So let's pull out the junk that's in the trunk and get it thrown out. Now you can see the tips aren't aligned, but we're gonna fix that. So go ahead and grab your hair stacker. So I'm gonna use this guy here. Just a hair stacker like so. Let's get the tips pointed in first. We'll talk a little bit about the orientation here in a moment. Once I get all those down in there, all I'm gonna do is give it a bump on my table till they stack up. Now, when I'm tying and I've used deer hair in a stacker, I always want to pull it out of the hair stacker with the direction of those tips going the way I want them to. So I want the tips to go out the back here. So I'm gonna tip this over so that the tips are already pointed backwards. Pull it out. You can see my nicely aligned tips there. Now, this is where it gets dicey, because as soon as you grab onto it, you're committed. So once you pull them out, if you start moving around too much or you lose grip of those fibers or the hair, then you're gonna lose the stack, okay? So I'm gonna come in like so. I like to kind of brace right down the edge of that, do a quick squeeze. Again, you're probably gonna have some under fibers that are gonna come out that weren't perfectly lined. Now I come back up and look at this. It's gonna be a little heavy. It's a little bit too much, so I'm gonna re-grip, come back in with my other fingers. I'm just gonna pull out a few fibers. Not a lot, but a few. I'll just grab them by the butts and pull them out. Now I'll come back and look again. I'm a little happier with that, looks good. So how far do I want these tail fibers to extend? Well, I want them, if I took a measurement from the hook point to the hook shaft, that's how much distance I want hanging off the back of the bend where my thread stops. Okay, so back here, barely want it hanging off the back, just a little bit. And we're gonna bring down some pressure with thread wraps and it's gonna flare it slightly, okay? So now that I've got the amount off that I want on the back, I'm gonna switch hands. Okay, I'm gonna come in here like so. And this is why I wanted my thread forward, because I'm gonna start by wrapping up here and then I'm gonna work my thread back to that point, or to those tips, and have a good control over them that way. So I'm gonna do a nice gathering wrap first. Now I'm pinching hard because I don't want those fibers to go around the hook. I don't want them to slip and go forward. So I'm holding them nice and firm because I want them to stay up on top of the hook. Now I'm not gonna pull down really hard at first. I'm actually gonna wrap forward a couple times with some looser wraps until I get forward a bit, and then I'll put some pressure. It's gonna flare that hair a bit. And now I'm gonna start working back rearwards, okay? And now I'm still holding on to those feathers up like so. And if it tries to spin, I can readjust that in a moment, but I need to hold the tips the whole time so that they're going the direction I want. And I can kind of reach up and coax these forward so they're on my way. But I'm not really putting a lot of pressure as I go rearward because I don't want to flare these tips yet. I want to get a good look at them before I flare them. So I'm going to kind of start into the bend. Make sure I've got a little thread off here. Now I'm going to look at those tips. I'm actually very happy with how that looks right now. So if I pull down a little harder, you'll see it starts to splay a bit. Okay, I don't like that. I can let off a little bit. So when you get right up to this place of control we have, if I pull it hard, it flares them. If I let off some pressure, it lets it go down. And we want to be somewhere in the middle. We want a little flare, but we don't want a lot of flare like that. So I back off some pressure. Once I like where it looks, I like what it looks like, I'm gonna go ahead and pinch them. And then I'm gonna take a couple nice thread wraps to lock in that position, okay? Now I'm gonna lay down some more thread wraps just to make sure that nothing's moving, okay? I like where that flared. Now I'm gonna come up to these materials here and I'm gonna grab them and pull them all towards the top, all this hair. Now I'm gonna cut it off at a bit of a 45, so I'll tip all those fibers forward, take a snip, okay? And now I'm just gonna get those butts buried. All that means is I'm gonna put lots of thread wraps through them. There's lots of materials to go over all this stuff still, but I'll try to bury them the best I can. If they don't bury all right off the hop, I can trim out some. Just be careful not to cut your thread. Like I said, we're gonna wrap lots more materials over there, so I'm not too worried about getting that super clean. But now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do two things. I need to go grab that wire, okay? This is a little technique we're gonna change. So I'll show you here in a moment what we're gonna do with this. But firstly, I'm gonna tie in that wire. And I'm also gonna prep some of my yarn. So I've just tied that in for a second because I'm gonna take that rearward with my yarn and with the wire. So if you have your yarn like so, what you wanna do is come in and just pull out. You can tell there's strands in there, right? So I wanna untwist it and pull out just one of those strands. So there's no more, I think there's 3 in this yarn. And as I untwist it, I should be able to pull out one of them, like so. Drag one out. And then you can see as soon as they come apart, they start to fluff up a bit, okay? Now what I'm gonna do here is I like to take a little bit more out of this. Not a lot, but I'm gonna take a little bit more out of that, just because it's a little bit too much. So all I'm really wanting to do is when I tie this in, is just to lay enough down.
Hold tight. We got an SOS.
My deer hair is messed.
Hold tight, folks.
We'll
we got an SOS.
We'll wait for you.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna just hit the commercials for 2 seconds.
Sounds good.
Actually, it's 60 seconds. And
more.
everybody just hold tight.
All right. There are a lot of great rotary vices on the market, but only the Norvise spins the hook. It's for this reason that it's been said the Norvise is the most innovative fly tying system on the market.
We all deserve the right to stay organized, no matter what or where your space is. Your FlyKia table will turn any space into a well-organized fly tying realm. Own your domain.
Boom. Well,
All right, Shay.
everybody
Let us
peed.
know. I didn't. That's okay. I can hold
Yeah,
it.
you did. It's wet. And you're.
That's why
pants.
I wear a theater buddy when I'm in the studio.
Oh, a catheter.
My leg's warm.
Okay. Rosina did not want to go away. Yes, we
true.
were just mentioning that she doesn't show up for 6 episodes, and then she's like a bad rash and an itch in
All
high
right,
school.
Shay looks like she's ready.
Okay, Tangisa, she can't spell. But that's okay because her hands are full of deer hair.
Yes, that is true. Okay, so I'm gonna take that yarn now that I've kind of thinned down, and we're gonna tie it in with that wire. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it down nice and tight. Now I'm gonna lift up both the wire, so I got my wire in there as well as that yarn, and I'm gonna start wrapping rearward. Okay, coming back. Now I'm gonna allow myself to push that to the far side of the fly, because that's where I want my wire to be. I don't care about the yarn, but the wire is important that it's on the far side of the fly, okay? So I'm just gonna push it to that far side, and that's where I'm gonna finish it, okay? And I'm gonna bring it right up to the edge of where that deer hair tail is, and that's where I wanna leave it, okay? Now I'm gonna take and adjust my hook so it's a little bit more upright for the rest of the pattern. And now I'm gonna advance my thread back to about, somewhere in between halfway up the hook shank and 2/3 of the way up. So I want to have the majority of the fly in the back, so I'll show you again this one. So the majority of the fly is going to be the orange and underlay, but then you can see up at the front, it's about 1/3 of the fly. Thank you. 1/3 of the fly is going to be just the head, and we're going to add in more yarn and hackle up at the top. So we need to leave ourselves some room to work with. So I'm going to leave my thread roughly that distance, okay, about 1/3 of the way back in the overall hook shank length from the point. I'm gonna throw a half hitch in here. Get my thread out of the way. Now I'm going to grab that yarn and I'm going to start it one full wrap right in front of that deer hair. Okay? And now just touching wraps, kind of allowing it to lay almost flat, so I'm covering a good distance. We're not trying to create bulk here. This bug is actually very small as it is. So we're just gonna wrap this forward. And I don't care if I over wrap this, okay? So if I wrap a little too far, I actually like that because what you'll see later how it transitions the orange to the yellow quite nicely. And if I wrap the yellow back onto the orange, it's fine, I'm covering up my work. But if I leave too much space there and there's empty space with just black thread, it is gonna look a little funny, okay? So I'm gonna tie that off right there. Get rid of that yarn. Make sure that's good and secure, not going anywhere. Now I'm gonna come back just a little bit, kind of more back to that third, okay? Because the one thing about this fly is you do not want to crowd that front section. Because once you get up to that front section, if you overcrowd it, you're gonna be frustrated with trying to whip finish or half hitch with that hackle we have right in the front. Okay. So now you're gonna have a brown or reddish colored brown. There's a couple different ones we put in, just kind of depending on what we had, but we want to have at least some type of brown / red hackle in there. So we're gonna go and prep that hackle fiber, and that's not. I'll show you what I'm gonna do with this one. So I'm just gonna find where the sizing is right, which we pre-sized yours, so they're the correct size for this fly. I'm gonna peel all the bottom webby stuff out of the way, so it looks kind of like so. I'm gonna trim that out, the base, get that out of the way. And now I'm gonna pull up a couple fibers, so you can see it like so. Now I'm gonna cut a little wedge into it, on the bottom and the top. So what that's actually done by doing that, maybe it'll look, yeah, you can see it better against my knuckles there. So cutting that little bit in there, those are fibers I've left, so I'm gonna put my thread through those fibers and that's gonna really bind it to the hook and keep it from slipping, okay? So as we've talked about before, there's a top side to the feather and there's an underside to the feather. You want the shiny side to be the top and you'll see the underside is dull. We want the shiny side to be pointed towards the front of the fly, so you can see that almost the underside concave is pointed to the rear. Then we're gonna tie it in just like that. So I'm kind of laying it perpendicular to the hook. And now, as I wrap forward, I'm gonna take that little bit of stem, I'm gonna tie some of the stem down, so I got it really locked in there. I'll come and trim out the rest of that stem, cover it up, and now I'll work my thread back up to here. So now you're probably wondering, well, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna tie this hackle off, because my thread is up here and I don't wanna go back over the yellow? Well, this is what we're gonna teach you today. We're gonna teach you how to counter wrap with wire. So the wire is actually gonna be what's holding the hackle down when we're done.
Okay.
Yes.
Are we missing?
What are we missing?
SOSs.
SOS for Mark.
Mark, are you good to go? Walmart. Okay, we got a couple SOSs. And you know what that means. What I've been setting up behind me.
What have you been
Let's see
setting
if
up
it
back
works.
here? I haven't seen it.
Oh,
there it is.
Almost.
Almost.
Just wait.
He's working on it, folks. He'll get it yet. He's trying real hard.
Okay. What we're
get
going to
it?
do is call this the donut cam.
Look at that. Look at that guy.
Folks,
Oh, man. Custard from the loins.
that is the donut cam.
Oh, man. I'm
If
gonna
you
eat that.
do not finish this fly.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh my goodness.
And now we all know his
went
email.
all over. I can't win.
So close. So close. That is what I have to look forward to if I don't mess up this fly. Which there is some likelihood to that.
Is your reward.
Okay. How we doing, guys?
Are we back?
Are we good?
Let's check. My hook fell out of my vise. Jade.
How do you get the cream in there, bud?
Do you jam it
The bearded baker secrets.
or jelly it?
I
jammed
don't
it.
know. You jammed it?
Look at this. Get in here on those lines.
Stimulator
Well, Cody
donut.
Frankie, you know where I live. You
do.
don't. But I'm in your town.
You could know.
And just
He's still trying to get a good view of it. It does look pretty good.
I know.
Can't lie.
I know.
A nice little nook up there you have.
And it actually goes really good with the Weizenbach.
Weizenbach.
So
Okay,
what
peeps.
we can do, how did you get the cream in there? There's Cam. Van
Oh,
Wilder. Wow, that's the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
The Stimulator donut. So the donut cam is live and well, and we will come back to it.
We'll come back to the donut cam.
But let's
We'll do
finish
it.
the Stimulator.
Let's do it. Okay, guys, so what I've done here, or what I'm going to do now, is I'm just going to throw in a quick half hitch, save my work, which is just the save button. I recommend doing it after most materials you put in. There's no reason not to. I'm going to get my, this is a really good time. If you have a bobbin cradle of any kind for your vise, great time to get your thread out of the way, because we're going to solely be working with these two materials for the next little bit. Okay? So first thing we're going to do, right off the hop, we're going to take, and if you have hackle pliers, this isn't a bad time. If you grab some type of hackle fiber or hackle plier to grab onto the end of your hackle, depending on how long it is, it may work or not for you. I like to start without it, and then if I feel like I'm getting close, then I'll hook it on. Don't make a mistake and not have a pair, because it's a bummer if you let it all go. So I'm gonna first take this and do one full complete wrap at that tying point. And then from there, I'm just gonna do nice, consistent open wraps rearward. Not super tight, but I want them to be even. So I'm looking at each wrap as I go and making sure that the next one matches it. Okay? We're gonna go all the way up to right behind the deer hair. Okay? Now, I'm holding this hackle up here. This is one you don't want to let go of. So if you need hackle pliers to hold this, if it got too short on you, then you go ahead and hold this, okay? From here, so the direction that I wrapped this, I need to now wrap in the opposite direction with my wire. I'll repeat myself. The direction you went with your hackle, you need to go back over it in the opposite direction with the wire, okay? So now I'm gonna take this wire, and that's why I pushed it to that far side when I tied it in. So now it's closest to grab onto that. And I'm gonna take a nice full wrap of that wire right at the base of that tail. And as I go, you'll see my hands here. I'm gonna move it back and forth, and that's gonna make sure that I don't trap down too many of those hackle fibers, because I want it to cross them. And now that I've got a full wrap, I can let go of that hackle fiber. And now I've just got a hold of this, and I could use the rotary function here too. All I'm gonna do is weave it back and forth and do nice, consistent open wraps with that wire, just like I did with the hackle, all the way forward to my tying point. Boom, just like that. You're not gonna get a much more secure hackle than one that's secured with wire, okay? So hopefully that's a technique you can apply to something else at some point. But that's how the original Stimulator pattern is tied. You use the wire to lock in that hackle.
I think more people are interested in the donut cam.
Well, come on, guys. This is about the fly.
Hold tight.
You don't have a Stimulator donut without a Stimulator fly.
Look at that.
Oh.
Playing the porn music, rocking out the donut cam.
Donut
While
cam.
everybody catches up to Tim.
Catch up time. Nice.
You think that custard will ever fall out of there?
No, not till I lick it.
Oh, yeah!
It'll fall into my
That-
mouth.
Is seriously the donut cam.
Love it.
You cannot get better than that. The cream of some young guy. That's-
Cream of
okay.
some young guy.
Cody Frankie.
Oh, Cody.
All right.
Oh, too good.
That's enough of that.
Okay, guys, so all I want to do here is I'm going to go and tie off this wire, which I've already kind of done, and then I'm going to snip that wire out. So you can either helicopter it out or use your old pair of scissors. Just don't cut your thread. I only say that because I've done it 3 times today. And now we have this the remaining hackle. And if you have a chunk as big as I do right here, That's a perfect amount for a smaller dry fly. Don't throw that out. That's really good, probably size 14 or size 12 hackle still. We wanna save that. So nice and delicately go in there and trim it out. Trying not to trim any of the hackle that's already been wrapped. We'll get that out of there and set aside. Okay. Now I'm gonna pull all of these fibers back a bit and just bring my thread back to where I actually wanted it to be. Because I always start my or bring my hackle forward a little farther than I want to, just so that I can wrap back to where I want to be. Okay. Now that we put in that beautiful hackle, we're actually gonna come in and cut some of it. Okay. So we want to be able to layer deer hair down on top as our wing without meeting any resistance from that hackle fibers. So I'm not gonna cut it super short, but I am gonna come in and only on top, I'm gonna trim it down a bit. Okay, just like that. So there are still fibers there because those fibers are still gonna kind of grab into that deer hair I lay on top, but I don't want them to hold the deer hair up. Okay, so gotta be careful with that. Okay, next thing we got here, guys, is we're gonna go back to our deer hair. Okay, back to our deer hair, and now this time we're gonna grab a clump about twice the size that we had originally for the tail. Now remember what I gave advice earlier, grab more than you're gonna need because we're probably gonna clean out some underfur, clean out some hairs that are kind of wonky, and it might leave us with less than we think. So be generous when you grab your clump, and we can thin it out as we go. But first thing is that we need to do is get a hold of those tips and pull out that under stuff and get rid of it in your wastebasket or drop it on your tying table, make a big mess.
Your shore wastebasket.
I'm sure. My shore wastebasket.
You sure are putting it in that shore
I
wastebasket.
sure am. So I'm actually pretty happy with that clump. I think it's going to make a good sized wing. I can kind of come back and set it on top and look, but I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and set that in my hair stacker again. So get those tips aligned. Get it in your hair stacker.
Who knew the donut cam would be such a hit?
I'll tell you what, if they ate the donut, it'd be a hit too. Okay, tap it. Get those tips aligned. Yes, my beatboxing. Now, again, remember those tips. We want them pointing rearward, just like the tail was.
That's me. that's not a soundtrack.
Oh man, that's a pretty good soundtrack you're laying down there though.
How is that?
I actually really like that.
Really?
It's nice. It's really light.
Super light.
It's perfect for me.
Kind of
Light
like you.
Pilsner.
Light.
Yeah, light. Okay, guys. We're going to pull out those hairs so that they're pointed in that rearward direction. Now, again, I'm going to come in. Once I grab them, we have to have them. We got to be careful how we handle them after this. So you can get pretty used to handling the deer hair. But once you grab it, that's the last time you're going to really have a chance to change it. You could throw it back in the stacker if you needed to. But we want to try to do this in a one shot. Okay? So, I've got it in my hands here. I'm going to recheck my wing. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So, when I come in here to lay this down, I want those tips. Not only do I need that deer hair to stay on top of the fly, just like the tail, but I want those tips when I tie in to extend almost to the back of that tail, because when I tie it in and it flares a bit, it's going to draw those fibers forward, and I want it to basically end up sitting right about there. Okay, but as I tie them in and they flare a bit, they'll get there. So I'm going to put it almost back to the back of the tail. Now I'm going to switch hands. I'm going to come in here and grab like so. Now I know we got a lot of fibers out, or a lot of hair out in front of the hook eye here. It's okay. We're gonna deal with that in a moment here, and I'll show you how. So I'm gonna clockwise spin my bobbin because I'm left-handed. You could go counterclockwise if you're right-handed. That's gonna cause that first wrap to jump rearward. Now I'm pinching nice and hard with my fingers so that all that hair stays on top of the hook. I'm not gonna squeeze down really hard yet. I'm gonna take a few wraps forward and slightly start to flare more and more and more, getting a little tighter with each wrap until I'm close to the eye, but not all the way there. Remembering I'm gonna leave some space, okay? Now I'm gonna wrap back a bit, rearward towards my fingers, because this is where we're gonna truly set the angle of our wing. Okay, so I got the wing there. I can look on the underside. Yeah, it looks like I kept the hair pretty much right on top. You'll know if it isn't because it'll slip down to the other side, but I like where that's at. So I like my angle. I like where that's at. I wanna keep it there. I'm gonna do a couple more wraps just to kind of make sure it's not going anywhere. And now I need to grab all of this hair up here, this hair, and I'm gonna cut it off at an angle, not cutting my thread again, and I'm left with something like that. Okay. Now once I bind these fibers down, it's just gonna make, what we're trying to create is a nice ramp, right, from that deer hair all the way forward to the hook eye. So now I'm gonna lay some wraps in, creating that nice ramp all the way down to the hook eye. And I may have to trim out a few of those if I can't get them to lay down, but that's fine. Just gonna take some more wraps, lay down a real nice base there. Now I can see that my hair and that black underbody aren't quite at the same spot. So I'm gonna wrap back over that hair a little bit more, but I'm not gonna squeeze hard, because if I pull down hard, it's just gonna flare that hair straight up, and I want that wing to just lay back, okay? Like so. So I took a few thread wraps back. I'm kind of cut that distance a bit. I'm gonna do a couple more.
The angle of the dangle.
Angle of the dangle. There we go. That's where I like it, right there.
Can't breathe.
Now, if you can, you want to trim out any of those extra fibers before we do any more work here, because that is going to be the thing. We're going to try to whip finish here at the eye. I'm just going to use my cautery tool to get rid of a few. So far, this has not done super well for me today.
Break it. Break it.
No, I
break
almost
it.
did.
Pop it, twist it, burn it. Pop it, twist it. Break it.
Didn't do
Break
it.
it.
I'm not getting too risky here. Okay.
You know what? You haven't even complimented my sick beats besides my 70s porn music.
What are you wearing?
Doesn't matter. What matters, folks, is the donut cam.
Donut cam.
Take me back to the donut cam.
For real though, Chas, you should grab some of these scissors, man. Order some up from Rocky Mountain Fly Shop. I think they've got some. These are like
I don't think they got them yet. They're waiting on them.
Yeah. Watch for
The donut cam.
They are epic scissors, man.
I just smell hair burning over here.
Yeah.
Boom,
Should come over there and give you your beard a trim.
Touch it and die. Okay.
Okay.
Donut cam got out of control.
It did.
What happens if you cut your thread? You can always
If you cut your thread, guys, you just
wrap it
wrap
up.
it right back on. As long if you cut it and all your deer hair fell off, then you're obviously gonna have to restack your deer hair, probably get some more deer hair and then retie it in.
Throw it out.
Start over.
Go eat a donut.
Go eat a donut. Cry about it. But yeah, most of the time, like I did it, like I said earlier today, like 3 times, cut my thread. All I did is reattach my thread, go right back to where I'm at. So it's not a big deal. But that's where those half hitch is come in handy. So if I throw in a half hitch, then I know it's not gonna unwind when I've got a material in. All right, so, okay, we're getting real close here, guys. So next thing we need to do is we need to grab, now you're gonna have a grizzly hackle. This is the one we're gonna use for the front of the fly. Okay, this is
Why do they call it a grizzly hackle?
Because it's 2 colors. It's grizzly.
Grizzled.
Well, let's just
you can't take me serious over here. I have not shown up on camera for a while. I wonder why.
Me too. So guys, we're gonna tie this in just the same way we tied in the last one. I've created a little bit of bare stem to work with. I want, again, the shiny side pointed forward and the dull underside pointed rearward. I'm gonna tie this in right at that deer hair. So I'm just gonna lay it across there.
Hold tight.
Hanging tight.
Your mic was
Acting funny. Can't hear me? How about now? How about now? Did it die on me?
no all the.
Still
I think we're still there.
I think we're still there.
Hang tight.
Hang tight. Technical difficulties.
Hold tight, folks. I think you're good. You just keep going. It's
I'll just keep
the
going.
monitor here.
If you can't hear me, at least you can see me. So I'm going
If you can't hear us, just give us a thumbs up.
let us know if you can't hear me. Okay.
If you can hear us, it's just...
I'm gonna lock down. So I'm gonna hold the base of that feather, that hackle, making sure it's staying at the angle that I want, and I'm gonna tie it down nice and secure, and I'm going to secure some of that stem as I go rearward. And I'll trim out just enough of the stem that it kind of almost gets down to the hook eye. So I'm going to wrap that down, secure it really good. I don't want it to go anywhere. I need to make sure that I've got that hackle tied in right up to the edge of that deer hair. And I'm going to pull that deer hair out and just kind of give it a little torque, a little bend, so it's going to stand out nicer when we start our next piece here. Okay. Now guys, we are real close here. Hopefully you've got an awesome looking fly so far. We're going to be done here in no time. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this yellow yarn now. Now you'll notice this yellow yarn is a lot thinner than the orange one, okay? I have it, but it's not working.
I know, mine isn't either.
Hopefully, guys, you can hear me because our headphones aren't working right now. But if you can't hear me, just drop in the comments so we know if you can't hear us or not, okay?
It said loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Okay, so I'm going to now take this yarn, and I'm going to tie it in, not all the way down at the eye. I'm just going to bring it back just a smidge. And I am going to bring that back all the way to where I left that hackle, which is right up against that hair. I'm going to advance my thread forward to just behind the eye. I'm going to do a quick half hitch here. Save my work. Set that aside for a moment. And now, guys, we just got two parts to do. We're going to bring the yarn forward, and then we're going to bring the hackle over the yarn up to the eye. We're going to finish it off, a good half hitch or a whip finish, and a little bit of resin, and we'll be done, okay? So I'm going to start by taking that yarn, and I'm not pulling super tight here, guys. All I'm doing is covering up my thread as I go forward. And I don't want to take this all the way to the eye. I'm going to leave a little space behind the eye, which I've done there. It's probably going to look pretty bushy to you, but that's what we want, because when we wrap the hackle fiber over top, it's going to kind of squish it down a bit. Okay, so I'm going to tie off that yarn, and I'm going to come in here and trim out that yarn. Good. You should be left with something like that. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more half hitch here, actually. Save this. I'm going to get my thread out of the way again. Go ahead and grab your hackle pliers, or if your hackle you think is long enough, you can just hold it, but I'm going to grab hackle pliers on this one. And grab onto it. And now, guys, the difference in the hackle on this one is we want to have the hackle much tighter. So we were way more of an open spiral in the back end. We want this front end to be quite tight, and we're going to basically use this entire feather. Okay, so do one full wrap, one entire wrap right behind the hair, and then slowly advance it forward. Much tighter wraps than we did in the back end. A nice bushy head on this fly. We'll go right up to just behind the eye.
Mark said his looks like a wig and spandex.
What?
Or a bearded dude wearing a mask.
Oh, that too. Okay. Now even I ended up crowding this eye a little bit more than I'd like to, but what we can do is get in there and pull those fibers back, lay some thread wraps down so we know it's not coming off. Okay. That's pretty much where we're going to leave off here, but what I want to do before I try to do much else is I'm going to take a half hitch tool. So this is why I was kind of talking earlier about how much I like half hitches, especially on dry flies. Because when I come in here and I take this half hitch tool, it's going to actually push those fibers rearward when I pull my thread over. Rearward. So my half hitch tool, this is actually just a bodkin, but on the back it has a small hole, which works really well. So I'm going to wrap around the bodkin twice. I'm going to put the tip of the bodkin over, slide those wraps off, lock it in. I'm going to do it one more time. And now that's brought those thread wraps nice and tight right behind that eye. That can go in there, and be careful, trim out your thread, and then trim out.
Wait. Sven. He likes to tie dangerously. He does not save his work.
Oh man, dangerously no half hitch. Well,
the old Nintendo.
If we were all as good as Sven at tying, we wouldn't need to have
Mom, I cannot come for dinner. Because you couldn't save your games.
That's true, you couldn't.
And you had to finish Mario Brothers in one sitting.
One sitting. Okay, guys, I've half hitched. The last thing I have to do is reach in there and trim out this hackle fiber.
Trim my Tim. Oh,
Nice and close.
What?
Wait, where's my where? Oh, you did
I
it?
gave
Good.
it.
I didn't
Yeah.
hear it. Nice. Okay. And guys, that is about it. So from here, all I need to do is I'm gonna go in with some. I'm not gonna use UV resin this time. I'm just gonna come in with. What's that?
VU resin?
VU resin. I'm gonna just
it's
use
the inverted resin.
for my dry flies. I really like my good old Sally Hansen's. I'm not gonna use the brush though. I'm gonna actually just put a little bit on the tip of my bodkin, and I'm gonna come in and make sure that these thread wraps up close to the eye are gonna get a good little dosage here.
Just remember, folks, we need to hit 150 shares before we give away this Loon Fly Tying Toolkit. Just throwing it out there. And I can't breathe, Tim. Hurry up.
Okay, guys. That's a wrap on our stimulator. Okay?
Oh, wow. Great tie, honestly.
Thank you. That went better than the last couple.
I don't think I say it enough, but you truly are an incredible tire.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Even in the last 3 years, watching how far you've come, well done, Tim.
When you have a purpose, you work
That's a
hard.
good point.
And that's the truth. Because something you guys don't see is how many attempts I tie at everything. Because not every pattern am I super familiar with, but
Are we ready for me?
I tie a lot of them. We're ready for you. Come on.
All right, folks.
There he is. Oh, wow. See, now you got to see why I've been distracted for the last 20 minutes.
So, the interesting thing is, this isn't a shameless plug for our sponsors.
There is a lot of shame right there, actually.
There's a lot of shame. None at all. I haven't seen my biceps
In years?
since this morning.
I saw your abs
At
right
the
now.
gym. Yes. You cannot find my abs.
Ab.
Because, folks. Oh,
you were
that
just
camera.
failing.
That camera.
I got it.
Cut it.
I got
Cut
it.
the show. Cut the show. Back to the Tim
You're good.
cam. Where'd you go?
I'm-
You're missing.
I'm busy trying to fix the donut cam.
Oh, you did. Okay, fixed. Okay. So,
Oh, yep. Why didn't you bring yourself one?
beep, that is mine. I don't think that's for you. But folks, this is Thursday. We're live, and we're about to give away the Loon Core Fly Tying Toolkit.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get there, we need to make sure we hit 150 shares, and you guys can sit there and stare at the... It's not jelly. I was going to say jelly-filled donut,
Custard.
but it's just custard.
Custard in the loins.
General Custard. Bruce, I am not the spare tire.
I like that comment. Well done, Bruce.
Bam, bam, bam. Norvice model. Yes.
Yes.
Truly, I am the only... I think it works.
There's nothing about that doesn't work.
I'm going to give Tim a shout tomorrow and say, Tim, you know what? I think folks want to see me in the full element. They don't
There it
want to
is.
see you.
No, I can't compete
You're wearing
with that.
a baggy black shirt.
Yeah, for
and
you
this
guys, you dinks. My color palette of clothing sucks when I'm on
So-
Thursday Night Live.
Let's give this away. And it's really easy tonight because I have thought of something for a long time. But I'll bring Tim back, okay? Tim, I'm sorry. Okay. How many shares do we at? Are we at
I don't know.
150,
You're
folks?
the one with the...
Because this is a really good giveaway. And Alec thinks I'm an inside-out cinnamon bun. Or the donut is. I don't know.
Either or works good.
I do not know what you're talking about. He wants to see the same shirt on Tim for science.
That's fair.
For comparison?
Yeah, for
Well,
comparison.
clearly, Tim, Trish, and Ren go camping under this shirt.
You just need one pole
It
in
is
the
a
middle.
tarp.
It's a tarp.
It's a tarp. Okay.
That's good.
So what I meant to do was give this away.
Yeah.
And, okay, this is very specific. What you need to type in the comments And
And
was
go.
that an air horn?
Yeah.
We're gonna crank.
It sounds like-
It's not numbers. It's not numbers. Bags is heading out as we're giving away something.
What? Bags, come on, man.
Bags, hold
I
tight.
wouldn't go anywhere.
Bags, don't leave yet. We still got 3 minutes ish or 300 minutes
Whatever
until I
you want.
pass out
Yeah.
because I gotta put this sticker over here.
Put on the
Rocky
beard.
Mountain Fly Shop. I'm just trying to rep everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, commercial time, and when we come back, I have the thing that you need to do to win this toolkit. All right, hold tight.
There are a lot of great rotary vices on the market, but only the Norvice spins the hook. It's for this reason that it's been said the Norvice is the most innovative fly tying system on the market.
We all deserve the right to stay organized, no matter what or where your space is. Your Flykia table will turn any space into a well-organized fly tying realm. Own your domain.
Super fantastic. Oh, I put it. I screwed this up. I gotta fix
You
this.
stacked
folks.
them.
I stacked them.
It's got to get all the sponsorship
All
reps
of them
on
here.
one shirt
Okay.
here.
Those Weizenbachs are
Are
rich.
not light.
they're
A full
rich.
8%. Is that what they
Okay.
are? 8%,
So-
jeez.
This isn't a shameless plug for any of our sponsors.
No. He's just uncomfortable without things in his hands.
Tim forced me to do this. I had this hat up like this, like a
Yeah.
rally cap.
There you go.
Okay, so, folks, this is how it goes down. What do you think of Wayne's homemade deer sausage?
His homemade deer sausage is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Bring some this week, Wayne. I might be out there Saturday. I'll eat your deer meat any day.
What? Okay, this is how it works. You write Tim, colon, the answer. Dana, colon, the answer.
Colon, okay.
And in those answers, oh, Janine's back on the show.
Oh man,
If
You're
I
still
think
in
if
the
I
shirt.
wear it long enough,
it'll stretch.
no, things will be good for me when I head to bed tonight.
Oh.
So while we're waiting for the comments to come in, Tim, colon, answer. Dana, colon, answer. What were the heads that we were wearing at the start of the show?
And go.
And go. Bring the comments. Back to the donut cam. And do. Shaggy. Tim the answer. Dana the answer. Keep sharp objects out of Dana's hands. Tim Bear, Dana Panda.
No.
Nope, that's not right. Oh, we're gonna have troubles keeping up to this
Oh,
one,
man.
Tim. That's why we're staring at that custard-filled donut on the donut cam.
In the pants.
Okay, back to us. Trying to keep up with the comments. Tim Panda, Dana Bear.
Nope.
Nope.
Still not
I
right.
don't think that's right. Dana colon answer. Yes. Eric, you're awesome.
Yeah, Dana colon
Eric
answer.
Augustin.
You gotta have both of us in the same comment,
Tim
guys.
Panda, Dane Panda, Tim Panda, Dane Panda, Tim Panda, Dana Bear. Tim Teletubbies,
David.
Kelly Goose, Alicia Underwood, Dana Panda, Dana Raccoon. Nope.
Not a raccoon.
Tim G's, Dana What, Tim Colin, Sven. No, yeah, that's almost
like
should
that.
win. Tim Panda, Dane Panda, Tim Panda, Dane Panda, Dana Cat,
Gray
Banakin,
Squirrel.
Gray Squirrel, Joel.
There
Tim
it
Panda,
is.
Tim.
There it is.
Where?
You passed it, Matthew York. Right there.
Tim Panda, Dana Wolf. There it is, folks. Tim Panda, Dana Wolf. I'm the wolf.
Here. There you go. There you have it. I'm not a good
That's-
dancer.
It's hot in there. It's
It
hot
is.
in there.
Warm. Just a
I
little
prefer
warm.
when my hat stays up like that. You
Gives
can
the-
see my eyes. Okay,
ear to
there it
breathe.
is. Matthew York. Matthew,
Nice job, Matt.
info at flyfishingbowriver.com. I still got almost a full beer.
Good for you.
Guide school.
Yes, we need to talk about that.
Guide school dates are up and at 'em. So thanks to Rocky Mountain Fly Shop.
Yeah, huge
This
thanks,
is
guys.
going up to Alaska. I'm going north to
Going
Alaska. But guide school is open. The dates are August. Stop the show. This,
I hope it's not August. We're gonna be busy then. Hopefully.
April 23rd to 25th. April 30th to May 2nd. That is Guide School 1. 6 days spread over 2 weekends. The next Guide School is September. I had to look now. I thought I had this all rehearsed. Man, I never got the lead role at school plays because I forgot my lines.
Lines. Always forget your lines.
September 19th to 24th. And Chaz is in. David Blackmon. Super awesome dude from the ECAM family.
Oh yeah.
Awesome man.
What's up, David?
Chaz is in guide school. Already registered.
Nice.
Bruce Cameron, of course. You are a volunteer client for guide school.
Yeah, Bruce.
Thanks, guys. David's getting donuts tomorrow. Cheyenne, wish I could take guide school again just for fun to be on the water with good people.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. That class was fantastic.
We haven't had a bad class
No.
yet, but their class was super special.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed that group.
We
So
do
what-
not teach how to hold your liquor in guide school. That is
We
a
do not.
prereq for you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a fact.
So why don't you tell us what is guide school?
So
What do we
guide
do?
school, 6 days. The first day of guide school is, turn down the dance hall. The first day of guide school is in the classroom. We talk a lot about the industry stuff. We talk a lot about clients, interaction with clients, expectations with clients, personality of clients, personality of guides. We talk about the industry. We talk about marketing yourself in the industry, the do's and don'ts of the industry. Day 2, we head to a lake. We get on the boat. We practice rowing and oaring. We have other things we do in the modules on the lake. Day 3, to the river. Only the river knows.
Only the river knows.
Because day 1 in the lake, get you used to rowing. Day 2 on the river, a bunch of modules on the river. Day 3, half the days in the classroom. River safety, river rescue, swift water rescue, and then we go out to the water and we float for half a day. We row. We do the on the water section of river safety. Day 3 is a review day on the water, and day 3. I'm way off.
You went to day 3 when that should
Day
have been
5. Day 5. So, they do not teach you how to hold your liquor. I failed that part.
Failed that part. Pre-rec failed. There's a good question there about David asked, does it matter if you have never fly fished before? Asking for a friend. So David, Jason Baglian below you there in the comments, he's a pretty prime example. He was fairly new to fly fishing when he took our guide school. Now, Jason, you could obviously speak to this better from a personal view, but what he came through in those 6 days was amazing. Became a way better angler and, confident person on the oars. This isn't a fly fishing school. This isn't about necessarily bringing you from never fly fishing to be an amazing caster, for instance. Yes, we work on those skills.
We teach you casting, how to teach
someone casting, right? So this is definitely from a guide's perspective. If you've wanted to row a boat or just hang out with a bunch of awesome people for 6 days,
yeah,
it's for you, man.
And the biggest thing is we teach you how to love people.
Yeah.
Because guiding is solely about the people and loving on the people in your boat during the day. And that's probably the biggest takeaway is we teach you entomology. We teach you fish feeding habits, how to read the river, how to tie knots, different rigs, all the stuff. I almost blew my shirt apart. But the biggest thing and the biggest takeaway is we want to show you that it's genuinely about loving on the people in your boat, serving the people in your boat, and you take your ego and you bury it somewhere because it's not welcome at guide school. No. We're going to be vulnerable. We're going to be open. We're going to have watershed moments. We're going to have aha moments. We're going to have tears. We're going to have breakthroughs, life-changing breakthroughs like Greg.
Yeah, truly. We say this is guide school, but it's actually about it's all about a lot more than that.
Because that's how we guide, and we truly believe that's the best way to guide.
Yeah.
Ken, next year, yes, we would love you to be there. And if you guys have questions, seriously, shoot us a message.
Yeah.
We're almost half full on spring.
Yeah.
And fall is still wide open. So we just announced the dates yesterday. Also, Fly Fishing Saves Lives podcast. If you guys want to be on it, let us know. We would love to have you tell your story. Chaz, who's in here, we did it yesterday and we posted it. And that is a phenomenal story. You have to check that out for his sake because that story needs to be shared more often.
Yeah.
What boats do you use? High drift boats.
Mostly all of ours. Yeah.
Literally about to pee my pants. it's burning. But when I'm 16, Alec, yes, you are an inspiration for the students in your school and the stuff that you're doing with Mike.
Yeah.
And we've worked with their school as a mentorship program. And Alec is one of the mentors to his peers.
He's a great tire too.
So Mark's retying his stimulator. What you need to know is this episode will be on YouTube as soon as we hang up. And you can go back and watch it again and retie your stimulator.
Yeah. Stimulator.
It just sounds a lot more deep. So hold tight because I'm right here, and that's not the one I wanted to switch to. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of Donut Cam because that thing is going to be destroyed in about 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
Okay, access the podcast. Okay.
Yeah, how do you
Fly Fishing Saves Lives, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Search for it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
We forgot Doug's joke.
Doug, where's your joke? Oh.
You know you're getting old when your wife says, "Honey, let's run upstairs and make love." And you answer, "I can't do both." Oh my goodness, folks.
That's my favorite one so far, Doug.
Yes, that is good.
Just out of nowhere.
But it's well past our bedtime and your bedtime. And we appreciate you guys. And I'm Dana Lattery.
I'm Tim Hepworth. We can't wait to see you next week, guys.
And we freaking love you guys. And we will see you guys same time, same place next week.
What are we tying?
Kung Fu Crab.
Kung Fu Crab.
And The gurgler.
Oh, the gurgler.
A gurgler.
Nice. Couple good patterns.
All right. Love you guys.
Love
We'll
you.
see you next week. Cheers.